So, what do we think? There we are. President Trump, early on, he sat down with union leaders. That's not the kind of thing you get from a typical Republican, but it was consistent with what he'd been saying about being different to the normal Republican candidate and actually representing working Americans who've been screwed by big business. So do you support this message?
I have a lot of thoughts on this. First of all, President Trump has a great relationship with the unions, so that's been incredible because I don't think that's something people expected from him when he was a candidate. But when it comes to this proposition that they've made, I mean, first of all, let's look at some of the companies specifically. American Airlines, AT&T, as customers of both, I think they need to talk to a lot of their employees and examine their performance before giving them a pay raise, specifically in customer service. But even when it comes to the $4,000 wage increase, we didn't say, or President Trump and the Republican Party did not say this is going to be $4,000 exactly for everyone. So if I'm someone who may get more than a $4,000 pay raise once my company starts making a lot more money, when we have incentives to bring workers and factories and different people back to the United States, I'd really hate to be stuck in a contract that's going to give me a $4,000 raise when I could have an $8,000 raise. On top of that, we don't even have a final tax plan yet. I mean, right now we have to reconcile the differences. The Senate in individual brackets has 7. The House plan has 4. These are things that need to be talked about. And of course, the state and local income tax deductions is something that a lot of people are waiting to see what happens on. So this is not something that's super simple, and this is not something that I think we can even really discuss at that deep of a level yet on the corporate side, because we don't have the plan finalized in front of us.
Fair, all fair points, but Jana, truthfully, I mean, they are doing something quite useful here, I think, which is exposing these sort of political promises that are made and have been made for year after year after year by politicians left and right. How does it end up for an actual worker? Isn't that quite useful, what they're doing?
Well, first and foremost, I got a special message for my clients, which is I'm calling you tomorrow about my $4,000 increase for every contract. It's somewhat humorous to me that we kind of saw what we saw in this letter went out. I think his members will probably praise him for his efforts and that, but the truth of the matter is this tax plan, if it goes well, it does include a tax break for these workers. So if you're a married couple making about $59,000.
Yeah, but sorry, they're not talking about the reduction in the taxes. They're talking about the promise that the wages will be increased. No, they're talking about the actual pay, the salary, the wages will be increased as well as the taxes cut. That's the bit that they're focused on.
So we know that that's likely not going to happen in a way.
So why do they keep saying it? That's the point. Teslin, last word to you.
Well, the problem is also with now some of those people who actually work in those unions and some of the people down at the bottom, those mid-level jobs, will actually believe that some strongly worded pen letter, is going to make, the private sector now change their whole philosophy and pay scale. And that's the sad part, because now you have politicians who are making promises and also groups out there who are making it seem as if, oh, if we just send this letter, it's all going to happen. I get the idea of what they're doing to show that trickle-down economics does not work, but there are people who at the bottom who are working that will actually believe, that this could be a possibility. So I think there needs to be some voter education, like what she was saying. This cannot be dumbed down to just some one tweet, or just some one campaign promise. We're actually have to spend the time, get into the nuts and bolts of it.
Something big needs to change. Okay, go on.
So we keep in mind, though, President Trump did send out a tweet, but I haven't heard Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell make the same argument, and these are the ones that are directly crafting the legislation to see it get passed. So to make that argument as a whole for the Republican Party, I think would be dishonest.
Well, okay, that's what they're saying then. No, I believe it, right? I've made that argument. I think low corporate taxes are good for working Americans. I've made that point regularly on this show.